Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I will demonstrate how to draft, cut and sew a simple A-line dress for a little girl. Hi, my name is Ayo and welcome to 011 Clothings Tutorials. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you! I'll be working with the following items: tape measure, pins. Ideally, a pencil should be used to draft the pattern, but for tutorial purpose, I'll be using this marker pen, a pair of paper scissors, a pair of fabric scissors, rulers and cuffs, a long zip of matching color with the main fabric, a yard and a half of lining fabric, a yard and a half of Mikado fabric, pattern paper. I will be working with the following measurements: shoulder to shoulder measurements 11 inches, waist circumference 23 inches, chest circumference 24 inches, hip circumference 26 inches, shoulder to waistline 12 inches, shoulders to hip line 18 inches, breast length 35 inches. I have here my pattern paper, which I've already laid out on the table. I have drawn a margin of 2 inches at the top and 2 inches on the left hand side of the pattern paper. I will go ahead and draw a rectangular box that will contain both the front and the back patterns. This is because both of them will be drafted within this rectangular box. To know the width of the rectangular box, I will look for the largest circumference between the waist, the chest and the hip circumference measurements. And in this case, it is the hip circumference measurement, which is 26 inches. So I will calculate the hip circumference divided by 2 plus extra 2 inches for ease. This is 26 inches divided by 2 plus 2 inches. This is equal to 15 inches. I will measure and mark 15 inches like this. I will draw a vertical line downwards like this. As for the length of the rectangular box, the length will be the dress length, which is 35 inches. So I will measure and mark 35 inches downwards like this from the upper starting line. I will draw a horizontal line across, thus completing the rectangular box. Next, I will divide the rectangular box into 2 equal halves vertically like this. This side will be the center back, while this other side will be the center front. For the shoulder line, I will measure and mark 1 inch downwards from the upper starting line like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the front and the back shoulder line. Next, I will calculate the armhole depth by dividing the chest circumference by 4. This is 24 inches divided by 4. This is equal to 6 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 6 inches downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the armhole line. The shoulder to waistline measurement is 12 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 12 inches downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the waistline. The shoulder to hip line measurement is 18 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 18 inches downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the hip line. For the back neckline curve, I will use a value of 2.5 inches by 1 inch. Using a French curve, I will draw out the back neckline curve like this. For the front neckline, I will use a value of 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Using a French curve, I will draw out the front neckline curve like this. The formula for calculating the neckline curve is the around neck measurement plus ease divided by 5. The ease can be between 0.5 inch to 1 inch. Next, I will divide the shoulder to shoulder measurement by 2. This is 11 inches divided by 2, and this is equal to 5.5 inches. On the shoulder line, I will measure and mark 5.5 inches, starting from the center back and also the center front. I will connect these points together like this to give me the slanted shoulder lines of the back and the front patterns. On the armhole line, I will also measure and mark this same 5.5 inches, which is the shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. So I will measure and mark 5.5 inches starting from the center back and also the center front. I will connect these points together with broken lines like this. Next, I will calculate the chest circumference plus 1 inch for ease divided by 4. This is 24 plus 1 divided by 4. This is equal to 6.25 inches. On the armhole line, I will measure and mark 6.25 inches starting from the center back and also the center front. On the back pattern, on the broken line, I will locate and mark the middle point. From the middle point, I will go in by 1/4 of an inch. I will connect the 1/4 of an inch point to the shoulder tip like this. I will connect these two lower points together with my French curve like this. On the front pattern, on the broken lines, I will also locate and mark the middle point. From the middle point, I will go in by 1/4 of an inch. I will connect the 1/4 of an inch point to the shoulder tip like this. I will also connect these two lower points together with my French curve like this. Next, I will calculate the waist circumference plus 1 inch for ease divided by 4. This is 23 inches plus 1 divided by 4. This is equal to 6 inches. On the waistline, I will measure and mark 6 inches starting from the center back and also the center front. Next, I will calculate the hip circumference plus 1 inch for ease divided by 4. This is 26 plus 1 divided by 4. This is equal to 6.75 inches. On the hip line, I will measure and mark 6.75 inches starting from the center back and also the center front. As the hem, I will also measure and mark this same 6.75 inches, which is the hip circumference plus 1 inch for ease divided by 4. At the hem, I will measure and mark this 6.75 inches starting from the center back and also the center front. I will connect these points together like this to give me the side seams of the back and the front patterns. Next, I will add a 1 inch zip allowance to the center back of the back pattern like this. Because this dress is a sleeveless dress, I will reduce the shoulder length by 0.5 inch. So from the shoulder tip, I will measure and mark 0.5 inch on the shoulder line. I will also raise the armhole depth by 0.5 inch. Using my French curve, I will draw out a new armhole curve like this. I will do the same thing on the front pattern as well. I will also widen the neckline. I will increase the front neck width by 0.5 inch and the front neck depth by 0.5 inch also. I will redraw the front neckline like this using my French curve. On the back pattern, I will also increase the back neck width and the back neck depth by 0.5 inch also. I will redraw the back neckline. I will cut out the back and the front patterns. Next, I will divide the back and the front patterns into two halves from the armhole line down to the hem. I will slash them open from the hem to the armhole line and then to the side seam. This is the back pattern. I will place another paper underneath it. I will open up this upper corner by 0.5 inch. Open it in place. Then I will sellotape it in place. After sellotaping, I will remove the pins. At the center back, I will come down by 1 inch from the hem. Using my ruler and my curve, I will redraw the hem of the back pattern. I will trim off the excess pattern paper. The width of the opening at the hem is 6.5 inches. So I open up the hem of the back pattern by 6.5 inches. I will repeat exactly the same thing that I did on the back pattern on the front pattern as well. These are the front and the back A-line dress patterns. I will get rid of the shape at the side seams. I want the side seams of the A-line dress to be a perfectly straight diagonal line. And as you can see, at the moment, there is a shape at the side seam from the armhole to the hip line, which I'm going to get rid of. I will glue the side seams of the back and the front patterns to a new pattern paper like this. I will connect the armhole to the hip line with a straight line at the side seams like this. I will trim off the excess pattern paper. These are the back and the front A-line dress patterns. I will go ahead and cut them out on my main fabric and also on the lining fabric. I have pinned the front and the back pattern pieces to my fabric. The fabric has already been folded into 2 layers. The front pattern will be cut on fold. The back pattern will not be cut on fold. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the patterns except for the side seam and the hem where I used 1 inch seam allowance. I will go ahead and cut them out. I will also go ahead and cut them out on the lining fabric as well. I have gone ahead to do the cutting on the lining fabric. I will notch the position of the zip allowance on the back pieces. I have already fused interfacing to the wrong sides of the lining at the upper part. The lining is about 3 inches shorter than the main fabric. I will remove the patterns from the fabric. With the right sides of the lining and the main fabric together, I will pin the necklines of the front and the back pieces in place. After pinning, I will take them to my sewing machine and I will stitch them in place using half an inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. After stitching, I notch the seam allowance and then I understitch the seam allowance to the neckline of the lining fabric. I did the same thing on the back pieces as well. I did not sew the back neckline all the way to the center back. Instead, I left a 1 inch opening at the center back on the neckline of the 2 back pieces. With the right sides of the front and the back pieces together, I will pin the shoulders in place, fabric to fabric and the lining to lining. I will make sure that the neckline seam lines match up. After pinning, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch the shoulders in place using half an inch sewing allowance. While sewing, I will make sure that the neckline seam lines match up. I will also go ahead and hem the lower part of the lining. So now the stitching has been done. As you can see, I have sewn the shoulders in place, fabric to fabric and lining to lining, and I have pressed open the seam allowance. I have also given the necklines a thorough press with my pressing iron. I have also hemmed the lower part of the lining. Next, I will sew the armholes in place. To sew the armholes in place, I will open up the dress like this. I will roll up the dress like this. Then I will flip over the lining and the main fabric so the right sides are together. I will match up the shoulder seam lines. Then I will pin the armholes in place. After pinning, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will sew the armholes in place using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done. As you can see, I will notch the seam allowance like this. I will be careful not to cut through the stitches. I will turn the dress to the right side like this. I will understitch the seam allowance to the armhole of the lining as far as I am able to go with my sewing machine. For the second armhole, I will also roll up the dress like this and I will repeat exactly the same thing that I did for the first armhole. So now that has been done, I have sewn the two armholes in place. With the right sides together, I will go ahead and sew the side seams in place, fabric to fabric and lining to lining, using 1 inch sewing allowance. I will make sure that the armhole seam lines match up when sewing the side seams in place. So now that has been done, as you can see, I have sewn the side seams of the dress in place and I've overlocked the raw edges. With the right sides of the main fabric together at the center back, I will measure and mark the length that I want for the zip at the center back. I will make the zip length 18 inches long. From the 18-inch point, I will measure and mark 1 inch downwards like this. I will sew from the 18-inch point down to the hem of the dress with the right sides of the fabric together. I will do the same thing on the lining fabric as well. So now that has been done, as you can see. Next, I will measure and mark out the 1 inch zip allowance at the center back of the dress like this. I will now go ahead and fix this zip to the center back of the dress. First, I will change the regular machine foot into a zipper foot. I will now go ahead and sew the zip to the center back of the dress, following the guideline that I've already drawn on the fabric. I am only sewing the zip to the main fabric for now. So now I have fixed the zip to the main fabric. As you can see, I will turn the dress to the wrong side. First, with the right sides together, I will close the 1-inch opening that I left at the center back neckline. Then also with the right sides together, I will go ahead and sew the lining in place, following the previous stitch line that I used to fix the zip to the main fabric. I will change the zipper foot back to a regular foot. Then I will close the 1-inch opening that I left at the center back necklines. Right sides are together. I will trim off the excess zipper tip that extends beyond the neckline. I will change the machine foot back to a zipper foot. With the right sides together, I will sew the lining in place on top or very close to the previous stitch line that I used to fix the zip to the main fabric. I will turn it to the right side, and this is what it looks like on the right side. I will do the same thing on the other back piece as well. I have sewn the lining in place. I will now go ahead and hem the lower part of the dress. I will also give the entire dress a thorough press with my pressing iron. So now that has been done, as you can see, I have hemmed the lower part of the dress and I have given the entire dress a thorough press with my pressing iron. Using a needle and a thread, I will embellish the front neckline using this piece of applique. I have gone ahead to fix the applique to the front of the dress, and this is the final look of the simple A-line dress for a child. So that's it guys, we're done. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, share this video with your friends who are interested in sewing, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. See you in my next tutorial. Bye and thank you so much for watching.